Hi children, welcome to our online class. Today's lesson is consequences of the world wars. Consequences of the world wars. Consequences means results of the world wars. In this topic, we will discuss these points. The consequences of the world wars. In our previous lessons, we discussed what are the reasons for two world wars, how did they occur in this world, etc. In this topic, we will discuss only the results of the world wars. That is, the First World War and the Second World War. The first point is death and destruction are enormous human cost. The result of any war is the death and destruction. That is the first truth. The First World War and the Second World War are different from any other wars in this world, that they resulted in huge human loss, huge profit loss. In the First World War, nearly 10 million people were killed. 75,000 Indian soldiers were also killed in First World War as they fought for Britishers in Africa and Europe. Our Indians were also fought on behalf of the Britishers in the First World War as well as in Second World War. In the Second World War, 22 to the First World War, what was the human cost? 10 million. 10 million means 1 crore. 1 crore people were killed in the First World War. In Second World War, 22 to 50 million. To 25 million soldiers were killed. 22 to 25 million soldiers were killed. And 40 to 52 million civilians were also killed. In the First World War, 10 million people were killed. In the Second World War, 22 to 25 million soldiers were killed. In the Second World War, 40 to 52 million civilians were also killed. Among those 6 millions were Jews. Jews was a name of a sect like Hindus, Christians, or Muslims. They pray Jehovah. Jesus Christ was also a man of Jews. He was born in Jews. He established a religion that is called Christianity. 6 million Jews were also killed in Second World War. Who killed them? The Nazis. The Nazis killed 60 million Jews in Second World War. And 150,000 to 246,000 Japanese people were also killed in Second World War. 150,000 to 246 Japanese people were also killed in the attack of US. In the US bombings. The US attacked Japan on August 6 and August 9. August 6 and August 9. August 6, they attacked Hiroshima. August 9, they attacked Nagasaki. Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They dropped 2 bombs on these 2 cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Nearly 1,50,000 to 2,46,000 people, Japanese people, were killed in those 2 attacks. Even now, the Japanese people in these areas are suffering with leukemia and cancer. These 2 bombings caused long effects on the people of Japan. And this is about the first point. Next point is democratic principles asserted. Democratic principles asserted. With the First World War, the German, the Austro-Hungarian, and the Turkish and the Russian empires came to an end. Which empires came to an end? The first one is the German Empire. The German, the Austro-Hungarian, the Ottoman empires, and the Russian empires. These 4 empires came to an end. These 4 empires came to an end after First World War. What was the reason for that? These 3 countries, these 3 empires were defeated in First World War. After defeating them, the Allied powers returned some areas of these countries, these empires, and made them separate countries. What about the Russia? Even Russia also lost its places, lost its regions, as the 1917 October Revolution took place in Russia. We will discuss the Russian Revolution in our next chapter. Even Russia also lost some of the territories. Like this, these 4 empires came to an end in First World War. And the Allied powers are the Triple Entente countries accepted the rights of colonies. They established self-governments after First World War in their colonies. They also, to some extent, they changed their minds. So, in most of the countries, democratic principles were accepted, which were desired by the subjects of those areas. Subjects means the people of those areas. Our next point is change in balance of power. With the First World War, the German, the Austro-Hungarian, the Ottoman Empire, and the Russian empires came to an end. The map of Eastern and Central Europe was redrawn. The map of Eastern and Central Europe was redrawn on the basis of nationality, economic viability, and military security. The map of Eastern and Central Europe was redrawn on the basis of nationality, economic viability, and military security after First World War. After Second World War, the British Empire, the French Empire, the Spanish Empire, the Portuguese empires, all these empires came to an end. Nearly more than 100 countries got their independence from these four empires. More than 100 countries got their independence from these countries. The map of the world again redrawn with the ending of Second World War. These are the change of balances in this world. After Second World War, two new powers has come. What were the new powers? The USA and the USSR. USA and USSR. What is the USA? This one is USA. USA stands for United States of America. What is the USSR? USSR stands for Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. In 1917, the Russian Revolution, the Communist Revolution took place in Russia. In 1924, USSR was formed with a combination of 15 countries. But unfortunately, it was collapsed in 1991. And on 9 December 1991, the USSR collapsed. And it was redivided into 15 countries. With the collapse of USSR, USSR was the only single superpower in this world. In the recent years, China is competing with USA. That is a present matter. Our next point is new international organizations. After First World War, the League of Nations was formed. To resolve disputes peacefully. What was formed? The League of Nations. It was formed in 1919 on the basis of Versailles Peace Treaty. Unfortunately, it failed in its work. As a result, the Second World War took place. After the ending of the Second World War, a new international organization come forward. What was that? UNO, the United Nations Organization. The United Nations Organization. United Nations Organization. Simply we can say UNO. After the Second World War, this new organization was formed, the United Nations Organization. The UNO is a kind of world government. Why do we call like that? All the countries in the world, nearly 95% of countries, or 194 countries of this world have membership in UNO. So it is one type of government. It is based on 4 principles. The UNO was formed on 4 principles. What are those 4 principles? The first one is preserve peace. It was established to preserve peace. The second one is uphold uphold human rights. Uphold human rights. That means that it supported human rights. It supported human rights in every country of this world. The third one is respect international law. Respect international law. Every member of the UNO has to respect international laws. That is also the one of the goal of UNO. What is the fourth one? Promotes social progress. Promotes social progress. Promote social progress. These four are the objectives of establishing UNO. What were they? To preserve peace, to uphold human rights, to respect international law, and to promote social progress. UNO works through different organizations. UNO works through different organizations. What are they? The first one is ILO. The second one is WHO. The third one is ICJ. The fourth one is UNESCO. The fifth one is UNICEF. Let us know about these organizations. ILO stands for International Labour Organization. It works for the welfare of laborers. WHO stands for World Health Organization. It maintains and keeps the health of the people of this world. It is also playing a key role in eradicating coronavirus at this period. It gives direction to countries in various ways. ICJ is formed to resolve disputes peacefully among the countries of this world. ICJ stands for International Court of Justice. Next, UNESCO. UNESCO stands for United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. Once I'm repeating this. United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. It works for the educational development, scientific development and also cultural development of this world. And the fifth one is UNICEF. UNICEF stands for United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund. United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund. It works for the welfare of children. These five are the organs of UNO. With the help of these organs, United Nations works properly. There is an allegation that UNO is being used as a tool for the great powers like USA and USSR. That means the USA and USSR using it as a puppet. But it has managed to prevent wars. It has managed to prevent wars at the scale of Second World War. There may be some small wars, but it prevented Third World War. That is the success of UNO. We have to accept it. And the last point is enfranchisement of women. Enfranchisement means to give somebody the right to vote. Enfranchisement means to give somebody the right to vote. Before First World War, women had no voting rights in this world. Women had no voting rights in this world. For the first time in 1914, an organization was formed to fight for their voting rights. The name of the organization was International Women's Suffragist Movement. International Women's Suffragist Movement. International Women's Suffragist Movement. This was the name of an organization. It was started in 1914. It fights for the voting rights of women. There is also a logo also given in your textbook at page number 186. This is a logo of International Women's Suffragist Movement. That logo is given at page number 186. In 1918, after a long struggle, the women in England and the British women got the right to vote. The British women got the right to vote in 1918. In the prolonged wars like World Wars, industrial production and other activities are necessary. With men away the battlefields, more women had to work. More women had to work in factories, in offices, in schools, in colleges, in hospitals, in other activities. They earned their livelihoods. For the first time. They got confidence. With the confidence being the breadwinners, they raised their voice for the equality. In all walks of life. That means in all aspects of life. Finally, they got their voting rights in Europe as well as in the entire world. Getting the right to vote is a big step in this direction. First of all, they got the right to vote, the voting rights. Once again, we recapitulate these points. The consequences of the world wars. In this topic, we discussed the results of 2 world wars. The first result was death and destruction. In the First World War, nearly 10 million people were killed. In the Second World War, 22 to 25 million people, soldiers were killed, and 40 to 52 million civilians were also killed. In the First World War, 75,000 Indian soldiers were killed. In the Second World War, 6 million Jews were killed by Nazis in the Holocaust. 150,000 to 246,000 Japanese people were also killed in American bomb attack. But the world is still living constantly under the threat of total destruction. A second point is democratic principles asserted. After the First World War, some empires came to end in Europe, and the map of Central and Eastern Europe redrawn on the basis of nationality and economic viability and military security. After Second World War, some empires were collapsed, like the British Empire, the French Empire, the Spanish Empire, and the Portuguese empires. More than 100 countries got their independences from these countries. After Second World War also, the map of the world has redrawn. And the next one is change in balance of power. After these two world wars, the power has changed from British and French to the USA and USSR. The USA and USSR take the first position in this world until 1991. In 1991 and December 9, 1991, the USSR collapsed. With the collapse of USSR, the USA became the single superpower in this world. And the next one is new international organizations. After First World War, the League of Nations was formed to resolve disputes among the countries, but unfortunately it failed. As a result of this, the Second World War broke out. After Second World War, a new international organization was formed. That is the United Nations Organization. The United Nations Organization. United Nations Organization works on 4 principles. We have discussed about them. UNO works through different organizations like ILO, WHO, ICJ, UNESCO, and UNICEF. And finally, the enfranchisement of women. Before First World War, the women had no voting rights in this world. For the first time in 1918, the British women got the right to vote. After some years, all the women in this world got the right to vote. This was the result of the international women's suffragist movements. Getting the right to vote is a big step in this direction. Okay, thank you.